is Sunday, December 13th, 2020, and this is the Eureka Street Crypto Hub, and I am Eureka John, broadcasting from Leander, Texas, just outside of Austin, Texas. It's a suburb, and today we are going to be talking about wrapped tokens, wrapped Bitcoin specifically. I did say tokens on there because there is a subtlety that I will cover in a little bit. Anyway, I wanted to get started here. Here I am. All right. And I'm not going to do any market data or anything like that. You can see that on plenty of other podcasts that I've come across. So I'm not really going to do that if I'm covering something specific like this. Anyway, I've been trying to figure out, and I've seen what wBTC and Ren BTC and all these wrapped tokens everywhere, and wrapped Ethereum even, and I'm just like, what is this wrapped token? And I'm going deep down the rabbit hole in this crypto space, and I try to learn everything I can all the time, and there's just always some other rabbit hole I got to jump down in to try to keep up and try to figure out what's going on. And been waiting for the time to jump in and do this, and well, I guess now's a better time than ever. So it's going to have to happen at some point if I want to continue on in this progression. So here it is. wBTC. What is this? So let's see here. Do more with your Bitcoin. Wrapped Bitcoin delivers the power of Bitcoin with the flexibility of an ERC20 token. Wrapped Bitcoin, wBTC, is the first ERC20 token backed one-to-one with Bitcoin. Completely transparent, 100% verifiable, and community-led. What does all that mean? Well, basically, a lot of people in the crypto space and who are getting interested in the crypto space start with Bitcoin. Bitcoin is hopefully going to replace the banking system and level the playing field for plenty of people in this world to allow everybody to transact without the intermediary of a bank, and hopefully allow a lot of people some opportunity to save and to be able to jump into the financial space like they've never been able to before. I have bought into it, and I've subscribed to the whole idea of being able to change our financial system one Bitcoin at a time. And if you really look into Bitcoin and take the time to dig into it, you'll realize it's not just internet funny money, but it is something that is radically changing the way we see money. And I'll leave that to other Bitcoiners. But this wrapped Bitcoin, people who have Bitcoin generally hold, or they hodl, and that came from a typo in a tweet from somebody a long time ago, early in the Bitcoin space. Apparently was drunk or something and said he was hodling, and that kind of became a thing in the Bitcoin community. And people say, I'm hodling instead of holding, and that really means you believe in the project. So that's what, when people say HODL, H-O-D-L, that's what that means. So anyway, this podcast, as you can see, and by the things I've explaining, is for the total noob. Everything I do is for the total noob. I'm trying to help people understand the space. When I first got into this space, it was like complete Greek to me. I didn't know where to start, and I've just kind of tried to pick up contextual clues of what certain words mean, what certain lingo and buzzwords mean, how all the projects kind of interact together, all the tribalism that is rampant, all the scams and funny money that's rampant in this space, all the vaporware and all this other stuff, and trying to pick out and figure out what is legit and what is not. And it is an everyday task. It is definitely the Wild West right now. There needs to be regulations, and regulations are coming, but until then, there's a lot of good and a lot of bad, and it is a fun place to play in as long as your life doesn't really depend on it right now. So everything I say is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a developer. I'm not even a trader. I'm just some guy who's learning about crypto, and I'm trying to take what I learn in order to be able to help other new people get into it, so they don't really have to hit some of the pitfalls that I did, because I believe that the more people that mass adopt into crypto, the higher the value of my assets go, because more people are understanding it and more people see value in what I've invested in as well. So that's partially why I'm doing it. I've been getting some good feedback and criticism on my videos. I really appreciate it all. It's motivating me to go deeper into the space and work harder on my research and video production methods. This is take 3 today. I would go back and edit a bunch of this stuff, but I just don't have time to do that. I have kids and a family and a job. I am doing 9 to 5, so I do the best I can with one take, and this is it. So, and sometimes when I'm researching these things, it's just so much stuff that I need to cover and try to put into a short podcast. And at some point I just have to be like, you know what? Screw it. I'm just hitting play, hit record, and this is it. This is what's going to come out. So this is what I'm doing. wBTC and tokenized assets have so much to talk about, but I can only touch the surface. The rest you have to do for yourself. But hopefully I can lead you in the right direction. I really love doing this, and I also love looking at what other YouTubers are doing on this particular topic. Let's see. I've just typed in wBTC. And I mean, tons of stuff comes up. Guy at Coin Bureau, he's really good to listen to. He does wBTC, and he does another one down here on Ren BTC, and we'll cover that in a second. I don't know this one. Crypto Lark Davis, he's really good. I listen to him a lot. Let's see who else we have here. We have Chico Crypto, did a really good video on it. I don't know these. And then let's see. Oh, and I watched BitBoys as well. He does a good video on this stuff. So there's a lot of good, and that's just on the first few that pop up. There's a lot more. Digital Asset News, he's not covering wrapped Bitcoin, but I listen to him daily. He's really good. So, I mean, there's a lot of really good videos on wrapped BTC and Ren BTC and all the wrapped tokens. All you got to do is go into YouTube and you can find it. So anyway, let's go back to wBTC. We'll start with wBTC, and then I'll go into Ren BTC, and we'll look at some of the places you can buy it and sell it and mint it and burn it and all that stuff, and go into some of the differences. And then then we'll just look at some of the other smaller wrapped tokens, and then we'll just call it quits. So I'm going to try to keep this as short and sweet as possible. Let's see how. So wrapped BTC. When people have Bitcoin, they want to hodl it, they want to hold on to it, and they don't really. Bitcoin is the Bitcoin blockchain, and then you have the Ethereum blockchain over here, and they don't play well together. They don't communicate. So there's a lot of decentralized finance applications and tools you can use in order to grow your wealth, but they're not available on the Bitcoin blockchain. So when you save and you hodl the Bitcoin, you can't really do anything with it. It just sits there. I mean, it is increasing in value inherently as itself, just because the mass adoption, but you can do other things with your savings besides just let it sit there. So, and appreciate in value, which it is, but you can do more. In Ethereum, on the Ethereum blockchain, there's all these DeFi protocols. There's Aave, Compound, Acropolis, Yearn Finance, and all this stuff on the Ethereum blockchain in which you can lock away. There's MakerDAO. You can lock away your Ethereum and get stable coins for it, or get other assets for it, and then you can trade on that leverage. You can pull it out for cash. You can lock it in other protocols and gain double and triple, even quadruple leveraged interest rates. I wouldn't recommend going that deep unless you really know what you're doing. But I mean, there's a lot of ways that you can grow wealth with what you already have. I mean, say for instance, I've saved up $10,000 and I want to buy a new truck. All right. With Bitcoin or with Ethereum or with any other stablecoin, you can lock it into one of these DeFi protocols and pull out against that collateral, and you can pull out, let's say 50% of that. So I got $5,000 cash out of that $10,000 I've saved. I've not lost that $10,000, and I get to use the $5,000 cash I borrowed and put down on a truck, lower my monthly payment, and I can circumvent the credit system. And there I go. I've got some cash while I still haven't lost the cash that I've saved. And the same goes with Bitcoin here. Since Bitcoin network and Ethereum network don't play nice together, what the wrapped token does is it allows you to lock up your Bitcoin and get the wBTC back from your locked up Bitcoin, which equals 1-to-1 one Bitcoin. But the wBTC allows you to play on these Ethereum platforms like Aave here. I could lock in my wBTC here in Aave, and I could borrow against it. Right now the APY is only 0.27%, which is really low, but that fluctuates quite a bit. I could do it on Compound here. There's several other places. I could go to lots of exchanges and trade with it. And yeah, there's a whole lot of stuff you can do. If I'm not a trader, but some people know how to trade very well. And so there's a lot of things you can do and be able to grow your wealth by using the wBTC, which is the ERC20 token, or the Ethereum version of the Bitcoin that you have locked up. So you don't have to do either or. It is your tokenized Bitcoin. So let's see here. You can go to here and you can get wBTC. All right, let's talk a little bit about wBTC. The thing about wBTC is it's centralized. There are 4 key aspects and characteristics of wBTC. There's the custodian, and that's where you lock your Bitcoin. There's the merchant, and that's the people that mint and burn the wBTC Ethereum tokens. There's the users, that's you and me, who want to mint or redeem the wBTC with our Bitcoin. And then there's the DAO, Decentralized Autonomous Organization, and that's the government component of it all, and that's the group of entities that select the merchants and the custodians. Okay, so who's this custodian? Well, for wBTC, the main custodian is BitGo. And here's BitGo. It is huge. It has been around since 2012. And in the crypto space, that's a long time. Me and you can't go to BitGo and lock up our coins. You basically have to be a merchant in order to be able to do business with these guys. So I'm just a plebe. I'm not going to be able to go and say, hey, I got 0.25 Bitcoin, I want to lock it up. No, just not going to be possible. So what the merchant does that on our behalf. So the thing is since it's centralized, that draws a lot of criticism from purists, DeFi purists, and Bitcoin maximalists, or people who only believe in Bitcoin only and nothing else. They don't want to hear about this because they don't want their Bitcoin to go to the Ethereum blockchain. They're hardcore, not your keys, not your crypto, and once your Bitcoin is locked up in the Ethereum, then they think you have less control over it and that it becomes less secure, because the Ethereum network is not as secure as the Bitcoin network, and that is a fact. But the Ethereum network is getting more and more secure as the adoption continues to grow, and with Ethereum 2.0 now out, we'll see how that can change. But the hardcore Bitcoiners will never use wrapped Bitcoin for this reason, because it would be sitting on the Ethereum blockchain. Anyway, they also say that your Bitcoin being stored at BitGo is now, you no longer hold the keys to it, and BitGo is a centralized entity, which makes it a central point of failure. And that is true. Somebody could possibly hack into BitGo, although I don't think it's happened yet. And BitGo is based in London, and they have $100 million worth of insurance policy on each account. I think, I'm not sure, but they have $100 million worth of insurance policy. So if anything does go wrong, you'll probably get it back. So I don't know. It just depends on who you are, what your philosophy on all this is, and if you're okay with that. So like I said, that's up to you. But it's not for us plebes. It's not for me. It's not for me to take my little bit of Bitcoin and go, hey, I'd like to wrap it up and use it on the DeFi platforms. No, they're just going to laugh at me. So my other alternative is to go to CoinList. Again, you have to do KYC, which means know your customer, and anti-money laundering processes, and set up an account, and which means you have to sit there and hold up your driver's license, take the face scan shot, and give them all your information. You have to send it off. And then you have to wait for them to approve it, which a lot of times can take up to a week, but most of the time it takes about a day. So that you have to go through that whole process. It's slow, it's cumbersome, but only then would I be able to do the direct lock up my Bitcoin and wrap it to get the ERC20 token so I could play in the DeFi space. So that's basically how to do that with just wBTC and no other involvement from other wrapped tokens. Here's where I want to go into something else, but let me show you something real quick here. Here in the wBTC network, it's a wBTC network. Let's see, what is this website? Yeah, wbtc.network. So here, get wBTC, and it shows all the partners. It shows the DAO members, AirSwap, and they're a merchant as well, and an exchange. Kyber network. Let's see who else we have here. Uniswap, they're an exchange. You can get wBTC from there. BitGo, of course, right here is the custodian DAO member, and so yeah, you can also if you don't want to just lock your Bitcoin directly, you can just buy wBTC off an exchange with your Ethereum or whatever other type of stablecoin, your DAI or USDC. You can do that on Kyber Swap. You can do it on AirSwap. You can do it in Uniswap. You can do it in DDEX. And you can lock up your wBTC on DDEX as well and earn interest on it. Actually, it shows 0% APR right now. I don't know what's up with that. So, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of how all that works. So you could just buy wBTC and be able to lock it up and loan against it. And that would fluctuate, the value of that would fluctuate the same way that Bitcoin does. If you go to CoinGecko and you can do a filter and do asset-backed tokens, you can see wrapped Bitcoin is the same price as Bitcoin right now, is $19,287.27. Let's go down here. Ren Bitcoin, $19,182.51. It's close. Yeah, I mean, there's slight differences. The value of this stuff really all depends on the arbitrage people kind of doing whatever they do in the background, and trying to keep the value. It's basically a network of traders and arbitragers on the various exchanges. If there's a price discrepancy, the arbitragers will jump all over it and try to even it out as closely as they can, and they usually do a really good job of that, as long as everything is running smoothly. There's TBTC down here, SBTC, IBTC, there's IMBTC, there's PBTC, a bunch of these different types of protocols that are creating their own wrap tokens now. But I wanted to start with wBTC because that is the first and the original here. In a way, it's almost like wBTC is like the Coca-Cola of the Bitcoin. For instance, in Texas, you would say to a waiter, you say, "Hey, I'd like a Coke," and she would look back at you and say, "What kind of Coke do you want?" You say, "Oh, I'll take a Pepsi or a Sprite." And that's kind of like this, or can you make me a Xerox copy? You know, it's just the general term for something in wBTC is that. But within wrapped Bitcoin, there's several others, and Ren Bitcoin is the next one I'm going to talk about. But before I get there, I want to check out DeFi Pulse. This is a really helpful website, and it lets you show on the decentralized finance space. wBTC here is the second most locked up asset behind Maker in the DeFi space. So it shows you that there's $2.2 billion locked up in wBTC. So there's $2.2 billion worth of Bitcoin locked up and with Ethereum tokens given back. And not Ethereum tokens, but the Ethereum based wBTC token given back. And the Renvm is way down here. It's RenBTC. And so there are other Ren tokens, so I think that's accounted for in there. But this goes beyond the scope of what I'm talking about here. So now let's look over here. And I did go into the Ethereum Stack Exchange.com, and I questioned how to swap Bitcoin to wBTC to see if there's any other ways besides CoinList and then this wBTC Cafe, which I'll get to. I did not find that there was any other way besides those two ways for a plebe like me to be able to just do that. And you got to be an institution to really go directly to BitGo over here. So Yeah, so it's either CoinList or it's now this wBTC Cafe. wBTC Cafe uses the Renvm platform in order to get your Bitcoin wrapped and in a decentralized manner and with no KYC, no ID checks, no account setup, nothing like that. So it's completely decentralized. Oh, I got my soda water here. Let me open up another one. Yep, partying. All right. So, what I can do here is say I have 0.01 Bitcoin that I want to wrap up and get wBTC tokens so I can go play in the DeFi space and not lose my BTC and still be able to save it. I can connect my wallet, in which I would connect my MetaMask wallet here, and I would enter that MetaMask address right here as the destination address I want them to send my wBTC for, and I would go in and they would calculate the fees. Since it's going through the Renvm network protocol, there's a Renvm fee and a Bitcoin fee. And then I would press get wBTC. Then it would show up a Q card and a wallet address that I would need to send my Bitcoin from whatever wallet I have my Bitcoin in to the address that shows up. And I have to make sure I send 0.01 Bitcoin as I typed in here, or I don't think it would go through. I think it'd probably fail or have some issues with it. So make sure you use the exact same amount. So I would send that to the address that they specify, and then it would end up landing in my a MetaMask or whatever Ethereum wallet address I put here. So yeah, that's basically it. Nothing else. It's super simple and super easy. And then from there, I could go play around on all those other DeFi websites and protocols. So that's a great way to do it, but it's done through the Renvm system. What happens is my Bitcoin gets changed over and gets wrapped, and it gets sent off to the custodians, and then the custodians wrap it and send back the wBTC, and then through the Renvm network, somewhere in there, it gets changed over to Ren Bitcoin, or it changes it over to Ren Bitcoin, then sends it to the custodian, and then all that wraps up, and then they send it back, and then there's a process where it gets swapped around between Ren Bitcoin, and then it ends up coming back to me as wrapped Bitcoin. So I don't know the exact process. You can find out for yourself. It shows you how. It goes well beyond the scope of this broad strokes video to really look at exactly how it works. But yeah, you can go see how it works. Here's Curve Fi, another place where you can swap between RenBTC and wBTC right here. So it's another way you can swap through a lot of this stuff. But yeah, there's a ton of different protocols to do this with. And so I wanted to show you wBTC as another alternative. If you wanted to lock up or use your BTC instead of having to just buy wBTC from somebody. Anyway, so here's kind of a visualization of the process between the merchant and locking it up in the custodian and minting, getting the wrapped Bitcoin contract on the smart contract, and then sending it back to the merchant who gives the wBTC to you. So in this case, wBTC is a merchant. And Uniswap is a merchant or an exchange, but yeah, so that's that. Let me find another article here, another Medium article that I was looking at. I wanted to talk now about Renvm. Renvm is a separate system that's completely decentralized, does not use a custodian. You don't have to do KYC or AML or show your ID or account setup or any of that. You can just swap, and that's what this wBTC use. They use the Renvm. So over here we have the Renvm, and the Renvm is the right here, renproject.io, and they use a system called dark nodes in order to do that. And what happens is you have your origin blockchain, your Bitcoin, locked in your wallet right here, and it gets sent to by whatever web app. In this case, it's wBTC, and it gets sent to the Renvm protocol and locked into the dark nodes, and then puts it on the Ethereum network, and where it gets wrapped, and then it gets it mints the Ren Bitcoin token, and then it sends it back to the merchant or your app, and there you get the Ren Bitcoin token in exchange. This is great. It also equals the same value 1-to-1 as a Bitcoin. They're not going to mint any more Ren Bitcoin than what's on the dark nodes in Bitcoin itself. So the value is also 1-to-1. I think it's just as reliable as the custodians. The dark nodes are really interesting technology. What are dark nodes? Renvm is powered by a network of machines called dark nodes, earning rewards for contributing compute power and storage space. Renvm network is powered by decentralized virtual machines. This virtual machine is replicated over thousands of machines that work together to power it. So dark nodes are all over the place. There's thousands of them. They're contributing their network bandwidth, their computational power, and their storage capacity. These machines are known as dark nodes, and dark nodes earn a share of the volume transacted through Renvm. So anybody that's running a dark node gets in reward for running the dark nodes. They get Bitcoin and several other forms of payment in order to be able to run these things. They can get, Bitcoin Zcash, Bitcoin Cash. I can't remember what other rewards they get, but overview. What makes a dark node special is they don't know what it is they're computing. So the people running these dark nodes never really see what they're actually computing. Imagine being given a math equation on a piece of paper and having that piece of paper torn up into thousands of pieces and given out to 1,000 people. Then everyone, without even looking at the piece of paper, works together to solve the answer correctly. This is achieved through a number of technological breakthroughs pioneered by the Ren team, and it shows you where you can read more about it. This is on the docs.renproject.io. They do go deeply into it and explain how it all works. Again, this is beyond the scope of this video, but there's a huge rabbit hole you can go into with all this. And if you're interested in running your own dark node, it'll cost you 100,000 Ren tokens, and the Ren token is basically the protocol token itself. I just bought some right before I did this video. I think it's going to do very well with the adoption of all this Ren BTC to allow kind of wrapped Bitcoin to be for the plebe, the average user like me and you. And so you can go into GitHub and you can download and set up your own node. It takes a command line interface and a understanding of stuff like Amazon Web Services or Google Cloud or DigitalOcean and stuff like that. But only do this if you're technologically proficient enough to do something like this. But the rewards can be pretty handsome with this. Like I said, you have to have 100,000 Ren to do that, and so that's pretty expensive as well. You have to register it. And but the rewards are not in Ren. The rewards here are in Bitcoin, so that's pretty good. And a lot of people would rather be paid in Bitcoin in some of these rewards than in Ren or just some governance token. So it does provide a lot of incentive, and I really like that. Right now, the current epoch, this is the payment cycle, 20.785 Bitcoin were paid out. Bitcoin Cash, Zcash, Filecoin, and Luna. So all that was paid out in this current epoch. A payment epoch for the dark nodes is 28 days. Here's 7 days until the next epoch. So that's the Ren Bitcoin. Let's see here. I did make some notes on the Ren Bitcoin. Some of the benefits of it, it's a more approachable small platform to do this wrapped Bitcoin stuff on. It's quick, super fast. You don't have to wait on the KYC process or anything like that. Let's see here. It was originally called the Republic Protocol, and it was used originally just to pay for the transaction fees in the protocol and to be used as a bond for running the dark nodes. Now Ren token is used as a bond of 100,000 to register and run a dark node and prevent malicious adversaries from running their own dark nodes and overwhelming the network with misbehaving nodes. Let's see here. Those who run the dark nodes earn Bitcoin, Ethereum, Zcash, DAI, and other ERC20 tokens. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of incentive. The Ren project is growing and growing. It's really new. It really only just came out last July, I think. So here's the Ren Project.io. I would definitely check that out. It's a great way to lock up your Bitcoin and to be able to participate in all this good stuff going on here in the DeFi space. And like I said, you can lock up your Bitcoin in Aave, your wBTC, or your Ren BTC in Aave. Here's Ren. Actually, I don't see where Aave you can lock up Ren BTC. You can lock up wBTC, but through the Ren protocol, you can get through wBTC Cafe. You can get the wBTC with your locked up BTC. You can get your Ren BTC through other protocols and through other dApps, decentralized applications, and use Curve here and switch it over to wBTC. And like I said, that's one of the only drawbacks of Ren BTC right now is there's not as many DeFi protocols that accept Ren BTC, but I have a feeling that that's going to be changing in the future here. Let's see what markets here on the compound. They take wrapped Bitcoin. I don't see that they take Ren Bitcoin. So, and then there's other ones, Yearn Finance. Yeah, I'm not sure that they take Ren Bitcoin either. So, right now, if you want, you can easily switch your Bitcoin over to Ren BTC and then switch it to wrapped BTC through the CurveFi DeFi app here. Yeah, this takes a few steps, but it goes beyond the scope of this video. I'm just showing you basically what all this stuff kind of is. There's IMBTC, which is also a centralized wrapped Bitcoin. There's PBTC, which this one here is based on the EOS blockchain. And then there's wrapped Ethereum. That's a whole other monster, but I just wanted to show you that it's out there. And that's because the ERC20 token has some issues to where a lot of the tokens aren't actually compatible with each other, and that's a whole other monster altogether. I'm not going to go there. And then there's the TBTC. It's a whole other one. I don't need to be going into it, but yeah, there's just other ones out there. I will pull up here real quick a quick image, and I will show you a little table with a bunch of these different ones. Eureka Street. Let's go to this, and I will show you. Okay. So this is built for DeFi. It shows kind of a cross comparison of some of them. Here's the wrapped tokens, wBTC, the Keep Network, TBTC, synthetics. That's a whole other monster as well. I'll do a whole other video on synthetics, but those are basically derivatives. There's the Ren BTC, IM token, and the P token. So it just kind of shows you the marketing liquidity appeal of wrapped tokens is low because of all that KYC process, and it's slow. The Ren is pretty fast, and there's no real friction. P tokens apparently are really fast, and the EOS blockchain is very fast. Let's see, it tells you the type of backing and the mechanism. Centralized versus non-centralized. Shows wrapped tokens. The wrapped BTC is Federation, and the IM token is centralized as well. On the token, what was that? That is the no. Where'd you go? Token lawn, yeah, on that whole exchange here. So that's what the IM is, and then the P token again is the EOS blockchain. So I don't really know much about the Keep network. I'll have to look more into that. But yeah, so yeah, that's how all that works. So I think I've pretty much covered everything that I really need to just touch on as just a broad brush stroke look at all this. Here's all the proof of assets of the wrapped Bitcoin right now, and it's totally publicly verifiable, so you could always look up your custodian Bitcoin address and make sure that your Bitcoin is there and safe. So that is another way that all this is secure. Again, this is on the centralized version of wBTC, not on Renvm. Let me see if the Ren protocol shows anything like that. Yeah, and in the Ren protocol, it shows you all the bonded dark nodes online, shows you the current cycles. I'm sure you can find out more stuff on here. Shows you all the value minted. So it's a whole lot right there, you can see. So it shows you the mint fees and burn fees. These fluctuate, but it's all very relatively cheap. And so seems like a good option to be able to not let your Bitcoin just sit in your wallet and hope that a Bitcoin will appreciate in value, which I believe it is. But it would also let you put your Bitcoin to work and let you take an active part in building passive income. So it's kind of a cool way to say it. Actively build your passive income. I like that. All right. So anyway, yeah, I will go ahead and leave you with that. We are at about 36 minutes, about 6 minutes over what I wanted to, but take a look at these websites, DeFi Pulse, take a look at wbtc.network, take a look at the Ren Project.io, and then take a look at some of these other alternatives, IMBTC, PBTC, TBTC. Take a look at the DeFi protocols, Aave, Compound, Acropolis, Yearn Finance. There's Fulcrum, there's DYDX, there's several others. And go into places like Uniswap right here, or DDEX, or AirSwap, or KyberSwap, and explore those. Look at Curve Finance, explore wBTC Cafe, and then listen to all these YouTubers and what they have to say about it. Specifically, Guy at Coin Bureau. He definitely really breaks it down and does a great job. So check him out. And he explains it way better than I could ever dream of explaining it. So there's a lot of YouTubers that are doing a lot better job on this. But again, like I said, I'm just trying to touch the surface and bring in some noobs here. So because I myself am a noob. So yeah, I just happen to love making videos. All right, well, with that said, I will go ahead and hopefully we'll do another video soon, and let me know what you think in the comments. Add me on Twitter here, and you can shoot me a DM on Twitter. You can give me some criticism. You can give me some positive feedback. Give me an upvote if you want to support what I'm doing here. It definitely will help the YouTube algorithm. Let me know how I'm doing. Let me know if there's a project you want me to look at. And you guys have a great Sunday and a great week ahead of you. And keep it up. Party on.